Hey, this is Jesse with Create This. A while back, I did a review for the HTC Vive on a game called Titans of Space 2.0. And in that game, we got to explore the solar system. You get to look at the different planets. We saw hexagonal storms on top of Saturn, I believe it was. You get to fly around the Earth and see it all lit up on the night side. All kinds of cool stuff, right? Very cool experience. At that time, I promised to show you another game called Destinations, where you actually get to walk on Mars. That never happened because I got busy with other things, but here it is. Today we're going to take a look at that. Now, a note about how I'm recording this. I don't use any screen capture stuff to do this. I just have a large TV, and Destinations doesn't allow you to make the preview window full screen like most of the other apps, and that's very annoying. This is something that's kind of a stickling point for VR in general with the HTC Vive. Every game does their preview window differently. Some of them have the dual lens portals. Some of them allow you to do a nice full screen view. It's really annoying. I prefer the ones that allow you to actually pick the resolution and do a full screen view because my graphics card can usually support it, and the people who are sitting on the couches next to me usually appreciate seeing a good full screen preview. So for you, what I've done is I've resized my desktop to 800 by 600. It's terrible resolution, it's super tiny, but this is the Destinations window right here, and hopefully you can watch along and get a feel for what this game is like. I'm not even sure you'd call it a game, it's kind of an app. Anyway, let's get started. All right, so Destinations uses a technique called photogrammetry to take multiple photos of a location and stitch them together, not only like a panorama, like in a panorama you take like more than one photo and it stitches it together into a larger flat image. Not only like a panorama, but also in 3D space. So it somehow manages to compose another 3D landscape from all of the various photos that you've taken. So today we're going to take a look at photos of Mars in a 3D landscape that were actually taken by the Curiosity rover, and they've actually got a 3D model of the Curiosity rover right there in the world. So let's take a look. This is the menu. You hit the little menu button on the top of the controller, and it gives you destinations, and we're going to pick Mars. Where is Mars? What did I do with it? There we go, there's Mars. And we're going to dive right in. We're going to visit on my own instead of joining the public room. Okay, so that's all it took. All I had to do is put the headset on, start up an app, and I am almost literally standing on Mars. I mean, I feel like I'm really here. The resolution isn't, fantastic or anything. There are sections that are blurry because the photo was blurry in various areas. The blending of the photos together is a little odd in places because the exposure of the various photos had to be matched. But I mean, really, I'm on Mars. I mean, this is what Mars looks like, right? It's incredible. Okay, so they give you these little caption boxes. Oh, let me switch my controllers around. That's the thing with the Vive. You can never tell which one is your left controller and which one is your right, because even if you pick it from the menu, as often as not, the games will swap them and they'll have them backwards. All right, so I think this one is supposed to be my right. So, oh, maybe I did that for nothing. Maybe it doesn't matter. Anyway, so this is Pahrump Hills Gale Crater, Mars, Sols 753 through 903. I'm not sure what that means. From around September 18th, 2014 to February 20th, 2015, the Curiosity rover explored this region of the Gale Crater on Mars. This scene was built from images the rover took during this time. And then it gives you the source to the images in case, you want to go and look it up yourself. Super cool. And this is new. The last time I was here, I don't think they had this, but there is a globe of Mars, and it shows you exactly where you are. And so this uses the blink system, so if you want to move around, you hold down the center trackpad there, and it gives you a little cursor, and then wherever you let go is where you're standing. And as soon as you do that, you no longer have that information point, looks like. You have to move your cursor over the information point in order to see what it is that they want you to see. Now, this is the HTC Vive, so I can actually walk around. I can kind of look at that globe of Mars. It's really cool. This is the Curiosity rover in front of me, and being the geek that I am, I think that's super cool. And you can actually walk around this. This doesn't go away. So I can look at, I know that it's got all kinds of instruments and stuff on here. This is like a robotic arm that goes up and down and, articulates. That's a camera of some kind. And it's about, what size is it? I don't know if it's exactly scale. It probably is. It looks like it's about, I don't know, the size of a large four-wheeler, Maybe a small car or a large four-wheeler. Pretty cool. See all the wires just hanging out there in the open. It's interesting. Exposed. Huh. Crazy. And at certain points, you can actually see the tracks left by the rover. So let's go and explore a little bit. Let's see, I've got my bounding box here. Let's go look around. Oh, here's an information point. Mars Science Laboratory Curiosity. Curiosity is a 900-kilogram nuclear-powered robot that has been exploring the surface of Mars since August 2012. The terrain you see around you is constructed from images sent back from its navigation cameras shown at true-to-life scale. So you're really standing on Mars, This is as close as any of us can get to it without spending billions of dollars and flying in a rocket. View to Mount Sharp, officially named Aeolus Mons. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. This mountain rises 5.5 kilometers above the northern floor of the surrounding 154-kilometer diameter Gale crater. Let's walk around a little bit. You can just see it kind of reminds me of, what are they, like those, the Dead Sea or whatever, or that super flat area that we have in the United States where they do all those races. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Kind of reminds me of that because it looks like the ground's all dry and cracked and stuff, tiled. Image glitches. The 3D terrain model shown here was built from close to 1,000 monochrome navigation camera images from the Mars rover. If there are holes or patches of blurriness in what you see, it is because we have no better aligned navcam data to describe that area. And then this is cool. They've got a little dialog button right here. You can click that and show the camera positions. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I think I clicked the wrong thing. Let's try that again. I guess it's the trigger. Okay, there we go. So now you can see each one of these little doohickeys right here. You can actually see that the rover stood right there, right? And it just like boom, 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 taking its photos all the way around in a 360-degree circle. And you can just kind of follow all the photos. Look at that. Those are the camera angles. This is where it was looking, so it was looking down this way. Super cool. Just all over the place. And that's what it takes to build this 3D landscape. Let's go look at some of these points of interest over here. There's this rock outcropping right here. That's really cool. You can see, a fair bit of detail there. Artistic license. While this is a visualization of real data, some liberties have been taken. To start, the color is artificial, since the source navigation camera images were monochrome. The sky is procedurally generated. That means that it is it's a fake computer rendering using images of Martian clouds as reference. The distant mountain and crater rim are placed by eye. Sufficiently high resolution data for the whole terrain was not available. So all of the mountains that you see around are just sort of, placed by hand. I mean, that's fine. It's still pretty awesome. I never in my lifetime thought that I would actually get to do this. I never thought that I would be standing on Mars, a virtual representation or not. It's just really cool for me to get to do this. Because you see photos of this stuff on Reddit and on Google, and it's hard to get a feel for the scale, right? Like, how high is something? How wide is it? Am I looking at a mountain or am I looking at a molehill, right? And if you go like right over here, in the Vive, because you have depth perception, you can see, hey, and I can even reach out my hand. I mean, that's about that high off the ground, right? It's just so cool. You can see where the sand has blown up over a rock from the wind. I admit I'm a bit of a fanboy. This is cool stuff. Let's see what this one says. Whale rock. This rocky outcrop shows cross-bedding resulting from water passing over a loose bed of sediment. These layers are thought to have formed over 3 billion years ago around an ancient lake and have been slowly exposed again by erosion. Okay, so my thoughts, my closing thoughts as I stand here on Mars. I just did a video about Google Earth VR, right? And so I get to stand at pretty much any point on the Earth and see buildings, see bridges, see all of this fabulous detail. And, places that I've never been before, Japan, China, Russia, wherever. I mean, I could pick any spot on the globe and I could go stand there. Now, the sizes are not the same. Like, this is a much more accurate representation of Mars than Google Earth is of VR, than Google Earth VR is of Earth in some ways, because the scale is correct, right? In Google Earth VR, you're bigger, or usually you're a lot bigger than you would be in real life, right? You still get a sense of scale because you can see, you can hold out your hand in the top of the buildings right there or whatever. But, it's a little hard to tell what it would look like as a person-sized object, right? But here, this is what it looks like as a person-sized object. Now, what would it take for us to have the same level of detail as Google Earth VR of Mars? I mean, we just need satellites, right? Because that's how they got Google Earth VR. I mean, they just used satellites. And then I guess they took, probably for some of the buildings and stuff, they took like architectural stuff and they made a 3D model so that it was appropriately sized. Because some of the buildings don't look quite right in Google Earth VR if they weren't massaged by a human afterward. But theoretically, we could just send some satellites to Mars, and over years, we could get exactly the same representation that we have for Google Earth VR here on Mars, which is just, it's kind of mind-blowing, Even without sending any people there, we could do that. We'll look at one or two more of these information points before we go. Book cliffs. Features on Mars can be given unexpected names, such as these cliffs just centimeters high. Right. So this is called Book cliffs. I mean, that's how far it is off the ground, Why is that called a cliff? These cliffs are just centimeters high, one of a number of outcrops showing sedimentary layers. The rover drilled, sampled, and intensively analyzed these rocks, sending back data to scientists on Earth. I don't see you can see the tracks of the rover right there. It definitely left tracks in various places. You can see the tread mark. I don't know that I see the hole that was drilled in the rock. I seem to remember one of these actually having a hole visible. Let's see if we can find it. These are little sand dunes. They're very small. You can see a lot of tracks as the rover came in. It apparently spent quite a bit of time circling the area first, according to that information block. I've unlocked the Mars prop. Okay. Open data. This scene was built using Mars rover imaginary released. Oh, sorry. This scene was built using Mars rover imagery released to the general public by NASA and JPL. Huge thanks to these organizations for making such things as this virtual reality reconstruction possible. Hear, hear, indeed. The rover left this region in early 2015, moving at a typical top speed of just 30 meters per hour. It was already close to completing its first 10 kilometers. Yeah, well, I thought there was a spot where I could see the drilling hole, but I'm not having any luck finding it. Anyway, we'll finish this up next to the rover right here, I guess. So there you go. Destinations. There are more than one destination available in the Destinations app. There are churches. There's like a gum wall. Let's take a look at some of the other destinations real quick. Just in case being a Mars fan isn't enough to make you want to go out and get this app, let's look at some of the other destinations. Let's actually... Here, put it over here, that way we can see it. So, one of my favorite was the English church. But let's look at the Seattle gum wall. That one's kind of interesting. So this is clearly in Seattle. I've never been to Seattle, but this is a gum wall in Seattle. And using the same photogrammetry technique, they have painstakingly imaged all of this. It's kind of disgusting. I guess these are all pieces of chewing gum here. Ugh. Kind of cool though. Colorful, very colorful. Let's see what else we got. And you can download new ones too. Let's get more. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Some lava tube in Iceland. Let's grab that one. Downloading the content now. While we're downloading that, let's check out a watermill. This one was pretty cool. If I remember correctly, this one shows some of the limitations of the photogrammetry technique. It kind of hurts your head in some points as you look around because things weren't rendered properly. But look at this old workbench. I mean, I can like rest my hand on top of it almost. There's clearly like a big gear there. There's a chandelier that's a wagon wheel hanging from the ceiling. Big old iron caliper things or something. There's like what is that, a sewing machine? Some sort of a sewing machine there. Thread. Chairs. I mean, how cool is this? I kind of want to map my room, my house. That way other people can go and like walk around my house. That would be cool. Not that my house is that interesting, it's not, but this is super cool. Candles or something. I don't know what that is. Yeah, cool stuff. Check it out sometime. This is the old sawmill, I think. Let's see what else We've got Old Watermill, sorry. Tower Bridge. Let's look at a bridge. I love bridges. Oh yeah, that's cool. See, I would love to do this for the bridges in downtown Chattanooga. That would be awesome. Wow, cool. I mean, you're just there. You're suddenly there. Like, VR tourism is going to be huge, I think. As soon as we get all this stuff super figured out, it's just going to be massive. London Archaeology. Founded by Romans around 2,000 years ago, London has immense archaeological record. Today, people known as mudlarks scour the banks of the Thames in search for old items of interest. Roman coins, Victorian clay pipes, ancient swords, World War II munitions, and even a prehistoric woolly rhinoceros skull were recently found near London Bridge. So I guess that's London Bridge. I hope it's not falling down. That was probably a typical asshole American thing to say, huh? Oh, let's see. What else is there up here? There's a spot. Tower Bridge, London. This iconic bridge crosses the River Thames just east of the Tower of London. Opened in 1894, its central bascule sections can be raised to allow tall ships to pass through. The it's hard to say. The photogrammetric recreation you are standing in was captured in September 2016. This was like 2 months ago. Somebody created this 2 months ago. I mean, I'm looking at the world like a snapshot of the world from 2 months ago. That's so cool. In some part of the world that I've never been. How fucking cool is that? Man, there's a bird over there. That's a cool little affectation or whatever. Man, that's neat. I want to go see these ships over here. Wildlife on the Thames, significantly cleaner than it has been in London's recent industrial past. The river's local fauna includes numerous species of bird and various fish, including salmon. Even large aquatic mammals such as seals, dolphins, and porpoises can be found in this tidal region. Though marine life is thriving, this environment is still fragile and at risk from human activity, as is everything. But in this industrial area, I'm sure it's much worse. Bunch of boats out there. That's cool. Very cool. All right, let's check something else out. Last one. There's a hedge maze. That's kind of like, it's not really photogrammetric. It's more like procedurally generated or something. So you can check that out if you're interested. I'm going to look at this lava flow because this is new. This is the one that I just downloaded. So I just downloaded this scene, right? Like seconds ago, in real time. All right, lava tube, Iceland, to the southeast of Reykjavik, underneath a desolate volcanic landscape lies this cave, a natural conduit formed by molten lava flowing from a volcanic eruption. Captured in August 2015 and originally appearing in the lab. Wow, so this was in the lab, which is like, you know, the #1 free app that you can download for the HTC Vive. The photos were recently reprocessed using reality capture in order to test new workflows for destinations. I have got to try making, as a photographer, I've got to try making one of these. I really do. This is just so damn cool. Wow. There's like some freaking hole up there and there's rain coming down that I can see. Man. Now, okay, so this is one of these ones that doesn't have a whole lot of, you don't have a whole lot of movement, right? Like, you can move a little bit along this path, but you can't really move like over there or something, right? But that's okay because, I mean, you're still here, right? Like, when am I ever going to actually go here? Maybe never. Maybe never in my lifetime will I ever go here, but I can say that I stood inside it in VR. And you're watching me do that for the first time. This is the first time I've ever been here. This is so cool. Now Now, here's what really gets me going. Imagine playing like some first-person shooter down here and just getting to blow shit up. Man, that would be so cool. It's gonna happen one day soon. It's gonna happen, trust me. We'll all have to take motion sickness pills or something, but it's gonna happen. This is awesome. Anyway, all right. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed that brief demo of destinations for the HTC Vive. Go out and get a Vive. Find a friend who has one. Check it out. Photogrammetry. It's pretty cool. See ya.